And welcome back. It's time for Opinion Court. You can join our conversation online. Please use the hashtag Opinion Court, whether you're on Facebook or Twitter. It allows us to track your conversation. Let me introduce my guests to you. To my far right is Edward Kisiangani, our resident political analyst. Next to him is Makueni MP Daniel Manzo of the Wiper Party. And to my left is Makueni Governor Kivuda Kibwana of the Muungano Party. And joining us via Skype is Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua, who has been of the Wiper Party but now is spearheading the Maendeleo Chap Chap movement. So gentlemen, you're all welcome to the program. We are discussing Ukambani politics and its bearing on national politics, of course, bearing in mind the seeming divisions that are now erupting within Wiper Party. Prof, let me start with you. The Ukambani vote bloc is one of those key regions that both CORD and Jubilee would be eager to get. Which one of these coalitions is more likely to either retain or gain this vote bloc in 2017, and why?
Depending on what happens in the next few months, that vote can go to Jubilee or go to CORD. So it depends on what unfolds in the next few months. You remember that there are a couple of things that we are waiting for. The Wiper part of the coalition movement has already said that we must choose a presidential candidate at least before the end of the year. If we don't choose, we can't wait. Then followed by that, there is this altercation between Kalonzo Musyoka and Muthama. Again, whatever comes out of that, if, for example, as Kalonzo is putting it, you know, he has to be a presidential candidate and he thinks the person who is blocking him is Muthama, then it is very clear that we already have a clear setup where Kalonzo will give excuses for what will have the misfortune that is impending, and then he probably will go his own way. So the CORD movement will collapse. Now, if it collapses and Kalonzo is not a presidential candidate, it is likely that that vote will go to Jubilee. But if Kalonzo is a presidential candidate and he gives in to the blackmail he has been meted against him by some MPs who say, if you become a presidential candidate, we shall support you even if we are in Jubilee, then that vote would go his side. All right, let's listen to what you're alluding to, and then I'll open it up to the rest of the panel. Here is what Johnson Muthama had to say about a CORD candidate on a day that he skipped a Wiper meeting. Listen and then we'll talk.
Sisi kama wana CORD hatulalamiki kwamba hatuna mgombeaji wa urais. Sisi wana CORD, wewe pilipili usioila au mwingine kule inamwasha wapi na nini na ni kwa sababu gani? Sisi tumetulia, maana tuna mkombezi wa rais na tuna watu wanastahili na wanafaa, kwa hivyo hatutafuti.
Manzo, what do you think of that stance by Muthama? Is he working against Kalonzo's ambitions?
I don't think so. Yes, he has said tuna mgombeaji wa urais na tuna wengine. The position in CORD so far is that any of the candidates is good to go. Any of the candidates, whether the Honorable Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, the Honorable Raila, or the Honorable Wetangula, Senator Wetangula, any one of them supported by the rest can really can do well in the election and can win the election. But he's in the Secretariat and he's saying we know who our flag bearer is. That is a conclusion. Well, the moment he says that, he does not name. If he wanted to name a flag bearer, I would have named straight away. But it is clear that obviously the CORD will have a presidential candidate.
Let me bring in Machakos Governor now, Alfred Mutua. You've broken away from the Wiper Party. What do you make of its leader, Kalonzo Musyoka's ambitions to be a presidential flag bearer? Do you see the possibility of that happening within a CORD context?
I don't know. I think that there's a lot of confusion that is presently being seen in CORD. I think that Wiper itself needs to put its house in order. I mean, some of us have been frustrated in Wiper, mainly because of the feeling that there's lack of democracy, that it is one person's way or a few people's way and nobody else's, perspective counts. And I think that is the main challenge that they are facing. whereby you find the party leader of Wiper says one thing in a public rally where thousands of people or hundreds of people hear him. It's reported in the media. Tomorrow he comes and says something different, and it's that kind of wishy-washy. You know, today you are here, tomorrow you are there. Lack of a proper stand, I think, that is causing all these problems. So, for me, I think CORD has already decided, or rather ODM has already decided that they are going for for their candidate to be the president, and that is Raila Amolo Odinga. If Kalonzo is chosen as a flag bearer, then we'll handle it at that time. But I really doubt that it will go any other way than Raila Amolo Odinga.
And where do you see yourself in that equation? You have reportedly paid up all your fees to the Wiper Party, whereas at the same time you have been actively campaigning for your Maendeleo movement. Which is your bona fide home, and do you find that that home will be in a coalition with CORD in 2017?
Well, I've stated very clearly that I'm not going to be running with Wiper or with CORD in the next general elections. I'm running with Maendeleo Chap-Chap, which is not just a movement, but it's also a party, a political party. This is because I know that Wiper has always tried to kick me out. Wiper does not want me. And it is because of my track record in terms of development, in terms of the fact that I am not a sycophant, that I'm crying for the hundreds and thousands and millions of people in this country who are facing economic problems. I'm in Kitui, and you know, in Kenya we have all these problems of power. So my apologies, I think the power just went on and off. But that is the main challenge that we are continuously facing, is that I do not trust Wiper, and so I joined as a movement.
All right, we're going to hold it there because we're losing you a little bit, but bear with us. Governor, I'll return to you very shortly, but we hear you. Your trust is not in Wiper. You're not running with Wiper or with CORD. Let me come to you, Governor Kibwana, because Senator Mudhama publicly attacked you, said that parties such as yours basically are... well, you're not aiding the Ukambani cause, quote unquote, that it is better to collapse your parties and to come under one banner. But Kalonzo defended you on this. What's your own thoughts about what Senator Mudhama is doing in the region and how that affects the politics of Ukambani?
I think the moment a political party is registered, it has the democratic right to exist. And when, of course, a party has got elected officials, you cannot simply wish it away. So I think I can understand Mudhama because he wants to do everything humanly possible to ensure that Wiper has hegemony in that region, so that when it is competing at the national level, it has more gravitas. So I mean, from a political point of view, I can understand what he's trying to do. If I was him, I would not do it in the same way, because you distance people from you instead of bringing them to you. I think that's not the way to build any consensus. But that doesn't really worry me, because I know Muungano is a political party in the Kenyan landscape. You know, Wiper is a party. NAC is a party. Maendeleo Chap-Chap, we are told now it has been registered, it's a party. CCU, and there are all those parties. So I think that Senator Mudhama will continue to do those things, and I am not surprised.
Do you believe he can lead a rebellion against Kalonzo in Ukambani?
I don't think that in Ukambani, as of now, there is any political person who has the strength, the political strength, the political muscle, let me say it, to challenge Kalonzo Musyoka. I think if he tried... Including
Alfred Mutua?
I said anybody, including myself. If I can use myself as an example, I think it's safe to use oneself. So, because at the national level, because I don't want to be, you know, a president or a deputy president, I don't think that all those other actors want to be president, deputy president. And of course we have been on the ground and we have listened to what the people are saying. So I think Mudama cannot, if he does his politics away from Kalonzo, I think that also will cost him. And I think that from what I hear people saying in the region, for the time being, that's their point person.
All right.
But you know, Prof, there's another aspect of that argument which is a bit hidden. If you look at what Muthama is saying, do you think that Muthama has finally realized that he has been supporting a weak leader who cannot appeal to other places of Kenya apart from Ukambani? Because I think he's preparing something. He's saying that this guy, for a very long time, maybe he has been advising him to do certain things in a particular way, and Kalonzo has not taken those things into account. And as a result of that, he thinks that Kalonzo is a loser. If you realize, Odinga has been doing his politics by dominating the two other principles. The guy talks about corruption. He wakes up and says there is a scandal here. Then you look at the two principles, they are not visible on many national issues. In fact, the person who sets the pace for them in this situation has been Raila Odinga. So I think the supporters of Kalonzo could be frustrated, including Muthama. And what he's communicating is that I don't have to support you because you come from my region, but I think you are going to lose the elections if you become the presidential candidate. And also saying you have already been dominated by Raila Odinga. Don't use me as a scapegoat. You are going to lose if you will never be a presidential candidate for CORD. So I support what Governor Mutua is saying. I think the frustration, you can see it on the face of Governor Mutua. He looks very frustrated. I think he supported Raila. I mean, he supported Kalonzo, but he thinks that Kalonzo cannot, accumulate support that Raila Odinga has. And unfortunately, he's in the same camp with a guy who has already dominated him, and he sets the pace for everything.
Mansa, is that your own feeling? Do you believe that Kalonzo can master national... Well, he is a national figure, but do you think he can master a national vote?
Very well. I believe if Kalonzo Musyoka was to become the CORD flag bearer, I can assure you, you'll have almost the whole of Western, the whole of Nyanza, the whole of Ukambani, the whole of Coast region. In fact, Kenya.
Ukambani, what do you think of Maendeleo Chapchap?
Maendeleo Chapchap will be flagged completely in the next elections, and this is his last time as a politician.
Who?
Yes, Governor Mutua will lose the next election. I can predict correctly. For his rebellion and the way he has handled his elections, lack of accountability. Can he explain where the funds of his party are coming from? If it is not the funds of Machakos County which is using to run around Ukambani, why is he not going to Kiambu? Why is he in Kitui? If this is really a national party. So there are so many questions he has not answered. His rebellion really cannot help him, not in Ukambani.
Governor Mutua, do you see yourself as the immediate former Machakos governor? Governor, can you hear us? All right, we're still having a bit of a challenge with his link. We'll come back to him later. But does it concern you that the Ukambani vote seems to be fragmenting, or is that a sign of democracy and openness within the people, that they're willing to go different ways, that this is not a block CORD vote as it has been portrayed?
I think because at the national level, it's only Kalonzo who is asking to be a president, or if CORD were to say deputy president. That vote cannot fragment at that level. It might produce MPs, MCAs, senators from different political parties. That it might do, and I think it will do. But I think that that vote, as I see it, is still quite solid in support of Kalonzo Musyoka. And I say this when we are in different political parties because I engage the grassroots and I can, feel what the grassroots say. And about the point of is Muthama sensing defeat of his party leader and therefore trying to send signals. Of course, I cannot say that I can read Mudama's mind, but I think that maybe in terms of wanting the court nominations to happen quickly, so that the position is known. I think that is a concern, and I think that's a concern of everybody. But I don't think that you can separate Mudama and Kalonzo, even when they seem to have those disagreements, or separate Kalonzo and Musila or Nyiba. I think these people have a history, and even when they appear to disagree
in public, they are agreeing in private.
But you see, Prof, the point I'm saying, I'm putting across is that in terms of personality,
yes,
Kalonzo does not have the political personality to become the president of Kenya. The reason is the guy looks weak. He looks beaten. I agree with what Mutua seems to, Governor Mutua is talking about. You see, he's not imposing, and yet personality is critical in any political contest. So look at him. He's in a same classroom with Raila Odinga, same classroom with Moses Wetangula. Raila Odinga has always set the pace for them. At the point at which they lost it, it was the time that Raila Odinga went to America, stayed there for over a month, and when he comes back, they welcome him. That's how they lost the battle. They waited for him to come and tell them what to do. And so Raila Odinga is already a big personality in politics. I wouldn't do that.
Let me bring in Governor Mutua.
Why is Governor Mutua laughing?
Well, Governor, why are you laughing?
Why are you laughing?
Do you agree with Prof?
No, I'm laughing because it is real, and it is historical. It is hysterical in a way, because it is very clear to Kenyans that people want a leader that is not a leader of just one group. Mheshimiwa Manzo asked, why am I in Kitui? I was in Busia the other day, I was in Kericho the other day, I was in Nakuru, but they are both in Ukambani because they believe that Ukambas, nobody else apart from Kalonzo Musyoka, should talk about development in Ukambani. But I'm here, I'm in Kitui, I've gone around in Kitui, and I've noticed
oh dear. We're losing you. We're going to try and get the governor again, but like he said, he's talking about development of the county, perhaps work that it's needed. But as we wind up, the entry of Charity Ngilu, re-entry into opposition politics in the region, Prof, what do you think that portends for players such as Kalonzo Musyoka?
I think they know each other. They have worked together for a very long time.
Do you see them working together again?
I think if they have a common enemy, they will work together. It appears Ngilu has not spoken her mind. So we are waiting to see what she says with regards to if she's going for senatorship or governorship in Kitui, and she chooses that. We see whether she's going to fight Kalonzo's for people there, or she will be one of the Kalonzo's point persons in that area. That's a long way to go.
Do you think she does not see herself as an equal weight in the region?
Even if she saw herself as an equal weight, she's kind of a latecomer. She has missed a number of opportunities. She's not a principal if it is called. Her political party does not have grassroots mobilization that Kalonzo has achieved with regards to Ukambani nationalism. That has not happened. So at least she will have to play second fiddle. But Annie, the most important thing you should know is that Kalonzo is in a game. He said something that escaped people's attention. He said he has asked God has prayed to God to talk to Wetangula during the day, and the Wetangula seems to have heard. So, which means he's saying Wetangula has already surrendered for Kalonzo, and maybe can play second fiddle. But then he has said he's also praying so that God talks to Raila Odinga at night. I don't know what God would say at night and not during the day. But the bottom line is that he's saying he's a presidential candidate. And Raila Odinga says he must be a presidential candidate. We haven't had much from Moses Wetangula. So these two guys, who will blink first? Let me tell you something. Raila Odinga is not going to blink. He will be on the ticket of presidency for CORD or even for ODM.
Let's return to Governor Mutua, who we've got now, and we're talking about the re-entry of Charity Ngilu into opposition politics, if you like, in the Ukambani region. What do you think of that? And is she an equal challenger to Kalonzo's clout?
No, he's not an actor, but Ngilu herself has decided to run for governor of Kitui, and she has very high chances. There is Governor Malombe also. It's going to be a tight fight here in Kitui. But to go back to the whole issue, the issue that we need to concentrate on is that why are people running for office? You know, are people running for office just to bring their tribe to power or bring themselves to power? This is not just about sharing the national cake. It's also about changing the fortunes of people in this country, in Ukambani and the whole country. So we need leaders who do more than just perpetuate their tribal affiliations or their own being kingmakers of this and that. I do disagree with Professor Kibwana about the impact of the power that Kalonzo has. I mean, it is not the same as it has always been. I think fortunes are changing. People have realized that they have been taken for a ride for a long, long time. Things have been talked about with no action. People want to see change, and change is possible. That is why Maendeleo Chap will field candidates across all the counties of this country, everywhere, including Ukambani, so that we can also usher in a new movement of saying that it is possible to get development while you're still alive.
And what coalitions would you then be interested in getting into? You've made it clear that it's not CORD. Is it the Super Alliance that we've heard of being touted by Musalia Mudavadi? Is it Jubilee?
No, right now as we are growing the grassroots of Maendeleo Chap. I'm in Kitui today. I'll be going to other regions of this country. I'll eventually make it to Makueni. And the idea is, let's first grow this baby to a place where we can be able to negotiate. But as far as I'm concerned right now, Maendeleo Chap will run on itself. You know, let's first get the people on our side. Let the people understand where we're coming from and where we are going and what our aspirations are. From there, if we had to join any coalition or any other grand opportunity, it will be based not on just positions of power, who is taking what, but based on development projects. We will only join a coalition that tells us about how many tarmac roads they're going to do, how many hospitals will be built, how many pipes of water will go to households. It will be a coalition based on development projects, based on clear budgets, and not based on sycophancy or trying to get somebody who has been in government another plum job.
All right, and so most likely a
unemployment rates of
most likely a post-election coalition is what I hear you saying. Okay, thank you for that. Manzo, quickly on Charity Ngilu's entry, how does that augur with yourself? Do you think she should be looking to join Wiper Party, folding up her own party?
Well, I think she's free to do whatever she finds useful to her politically. And I want to disagree with Governor Mutua that that Kalonzo is weak in any way, or even Professor. I want to tell him that first of all, if it was not for Kalonzo, he would not be the governor of Machakos. And secondly, the people of Machakos have employed him as a governor, just as my governor is here to work in Machakos, not to run away. So you are away from office, you are misusing, you know, the opportunity the people have given you. You are not working for them. The taps, a lot of taps in Machakos town, I was there recently, have no water. So when you talk of development, it must be real development, not emergent development. And to Professor Kisiangani, I don't think Kalonzo is a weak candidate at all. He's not, and I can assure you, through the debates we are going to have in court, and the moment we come up with a formula where we agree who the candidate is, it doesn't matter.
You still carry that light?
Yes, I still believe he can make it, and he stands for the nation of Kenya, and he can do very well.
If he's not the one, would Wiper be forced to look for a new coalition partner?
No, not at all. I can assure you.
The candidate is Raila Odinga.
Yes, I can assure you, whatever the case, CORD will not break, and will win the next election.
Under Raila Odinga.
Governor Kibwana, your final thoughts?
Well, I think people said Kibaki was weak, and I think up to now he's one of the best presidents, not just in Kenya, but on the continent. And if somebody has been in politics for about 30 plus years and they have survived, then it really means that there is something to them. But I think in terms of CORD, it's important to, you know, get Musalia in, to get, you know, other people in. And the question of who is going to be the presidential candidate, I think that's a question that also must be settled. And even for us, like the 15 political parties which are the small affiliates of CORD, we are also working together, and we are interested in terms of equality within CORD, and you know, getting also this question of the presidential candidate and so on settled. And I don't think that if it is Raila, if it is Kalonzo, if it is Wetangula, CORD will not break. But what I know is, as Mutua said, Governor Mutua, we shouldn't really be focusing on tribal alliances as such. We should be asking, if it is CORD, what is the agenda of CORD? If it is Jubilee, what is the agenda of Jubilee? Just like in Muungano, you know, what is the agenda, and to what extent are these parties going to transform, you know, our country and take our people forward? Recently I was in China, and they're really doing great work. I was, you know, saying, when will this happen in Kenya? So if it is Raila, there will be CORD. If it is Kalonzo, you know, there will be CORD. If it is Wetangula, if it is Musalia and he comes in. So I think it's okay. Open. But
all right, and that's all the time we have. That's all the time we have, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us here in studio, and of course, Governor Mutua via Skype. I beg your pardon. We're back with the business after.